Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is part 2 of how to grow Alstroemeria from seed. If you didn't watch part 1, I encourage you to go up here, follow the link, and watch that because you have to do a cold stratification process, which I show you how to do in that video, before you get to the stage of sowing them straight into soil. Alstroemeria is also commonly known as the Peruvian lily. You can sometimes get them in places like Trader Joe's and in florists, or if you order your bouquets online from a florist, a lot of times you will see Alstroemerias in the bouquets. They're actually a pretty common flower that florists like to use because they are so long lasting, and they come in a huge range of colors. But actually, Alstroemerias are quite an easy plant to grow yourself if you want to give it a try. And if you have them outside through the summer, you can just keep cutting them and they just keep producing. So the seeds have been cold stratifying in the fridge for 3 weeks, and I've just taken them out and they're in this jar. They've been in a damp paper towel. So we're just going to open this up, take these out. So we have 2 varieties here, and I've wrapped one of the varieties up with the tag in it, and the same with the other one. So here we've got Dandy Candy, and the other one here is Alstroemeria Devotion. So the seeds in here, they've been dampened previously. You can watch in the previous video, part 1 of how I did this. It's pretty simple, but they need a period of cold before you can sow them into a growing medium. If you don't do this first step, then they probably are not going to germinate. If you're reusing containers, you need to practice good hygiene with your seeds. You need to wash these thoroughly and bleach them to get rid of any harmful bacteria, fungus, or pathogens that could attack your seedlings while they're starting to germinate. I've poured some of this seed starting mix into a container, and I'm just going to pre-moisten it with some water, just a little bit. You don't want too much. You want it just moist enough to get the seeds to sprout out, but you don't want it too wet that's going to inhibit the seeds from coming out or cause them to rot before they get a chance to emerge. So I'm just going to pre-mix this, and this seed starting mix is by Jiffy, and it's an organic mix. You can buy this at Walmart or Home Depot. It's pretty standard, and if you want the best success at starting seeds, I would invest in some seed starting mix rather than some standard potting soil or potting compost. The reason is because seed starting mix does not contain nutrients, and like the standard potting mix, the standard has nutrients, and nutrients added to a compost or potting mix can actually inhibit seed growth. Okay, so I'm just going to pour this soil into these containers here. I'm just going to get my hands in here and do it like this. It's faster, easier. Okay, so we've got one of these filled. I'll just fill the next. Okay, here we go. It's just as simple as sticking these seeds in. And a good rule of thumb when you're planting seeds is to plant them as deep as they are thick. So these little tiny, well, they're not that tiny actually. They're a good size. It's a larger small seed. So I'm just going to plant that at the same depth that it is thick, and I'm just going to use the end of this pencil and just stick these right in like this. Easy. As long as you've put these seeds through a period of cold stratification, they should have a good chance of germinating. And now we'll do this other variety, which is Alstroemeria Dandy Candy. This first one we did was called Alstroemeria Devotion. I'm sticking 2 or 3 in each cell because when they germinate and get a little bit bigger, I'll prick them out or dig them out carefully and put them into their own larger container. And then just cover them over like that. Okay, now that we've sown our seeds into our cell trays, into our clean cell trays, make sure you clean your containers, and we've sown them into the correct seed starting mix. I'm going to put these into a big plastic bag like this, and I'm going to seal it up, and this is going to serve as a humidity dome. Well, it's not really a dome, but it's going to keep the humidity in. And you do want to keep the humidity in, especially if you've got your seeds that you're going to be starting indoors in the winter, which this is February now. And with the indoor heat, it can be very drying, so you just want to give them the best start, keep the humidity in. Place these under some good plant grow lights, and you want to give these some heat underneath. So either with a seed starting heat mat or some heating cables, or you could place them on top of water heater or a furnace. If the furnace isn't too hot, maybe place it higher above, but make sure you have the light over the top of these as well as the heat underneath.